Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Soul Sharing Podcast, where every Wednesday we are going to show up for each other, have some raw, authentic conversations, learn a bit more about each other and ourselves, and hopefully have some fun. I am your host, Gina. I am so excited to be here today, and I cannot wait to share my soul with you. On this episode of the Soul Sharing Podcast, this is actually the first actual episode. So, I am going to introduce myself to all of you. Some of you might know me, some of you might not. So I'm just going to kind of share myself with you and share what my 30s have been like, because god damn, it's been a journey. It's been crazy. So go ahead, grab a drink, put on this podcast when you're ready to get kind of cozy or have some time to just listen. I'm just going to kind of tell a story. So I am Gina. I am 33 years old. I am a Libra. My birthday was just about a month ago when you're hearing this. And my 30s have been quite the fucking ride. Can I just say that? I don't even know where to start. Like, we all know we have COVID and Black Lives Matter and like fucking Trump and all the crazy government shit that we've been going through, let alone the collective trauma of a pandemic. And yeah. Where do we begin? That's just obvious. We also have an dead ex-husband. We have our Saturn return. We have tarot and being a single mom who photographs naked bodies. Like, where to begin? I am a unique individual, to say the least, but it has been a ride. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. I did try and film this earlier, and I was like in tears, bawling. Didn't realize how much this episode was going to be. We'll see if it's still like that this time, but yeah. So if you don't know, Saturn return is something that happens between like when Saturn comes back to where you were born, right at the center, right at the same spot. It happens usually between 27 and 30. And it just kind of, I like to say it's life kind of turning the bucket upside down and just dumping all your shit out. Just dumping it all out. Every piece of everything is like, okay, rebuild it. Shit shattered, shit broke, it all tumbled. Some went down there, down the drain, and you're like supposed to put it all back together. And that's Saturn return. That's the beginning of your 30s. It's a ride. And if you don't know about it, oh my gosh, I can only imagine how much of it's a mind fuck even with knowing it. But being a very spiritual individual, I like to remind myself that this shit happens for a reason. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me. But there's some shit that happens and it's like, are you sure you want to do this? You want to go down that way? Oh, okay. Okay, I guess. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so it was a ride. We will start in 2019. 2019. In April, the father of my two children. Did I mention I had kids? Maybe a little bit. So let's back up a little bit. I am 33, Libra. I am a portrait photographer. You heard me mention those naked people. I am a boudoir photographer. A lot of people know that term. I refer to myself as a soul photographer. Love documenting individuals where they are in their lives, providing a vulnerable space for you to be free and open and kind of let that resistance down with your body. So that's what I do. So grateful to do that as a living. And I'm also a single mom of 2 awesome kids. They are 13 and 11, a boy and a girl. So yeah, in 2019, those awesome children's father, my ex-husband, their dad passed away. I would say suddenly, especially for them. He had gone through his own journey in life with health and with substance abuse and a bad heart. And so that combination, it led to a sudden death of him at 32 years old. It was a lot. It was hard. It was crazy. I did not expect to grieve my ex-husband in that way. Yeah. At one point, he was my best friend. He is the father of my 2 children, the only man I've ever been married to. So yeah, he meant a lot to me. I married him for a reason, and it broke my heart to see him not get to show up for his children that I knew he could and so desperately wanted him to. So he passed away in 2019. We were told that we knew he was sick. We knew all that stuff. We were given, I think at one point, 6 to 8 months, maybe even 6 months to a year, for him to live, and a month later he died. And I always knew he was sick, and so when we got that news, I decided to tell my children. I told them on a Friday. We went to their first therapy session. And he passed away that Monday. Very unexpected. Not how it was supposed to go. I thought they were going to be doing months of therapy. Yeah. It was a lot. It was crazy. My son is so strong. My daughter is so strong. But I watched my children go through something that I had never experienced like that. And it was heartbreaking, reality shattering. It was a journey for me as a 29-year-old, let alone these 2 little babies. I know adults who lose their children or lose their parents, and it fucks them up. So I was so nervous for how they were going to, and still, it's been 4 years. I'm still very nervous how it's going to be, but again, it's their journey. It's the way their life was chosen to be written, and I am along for the ride with them. I love them so much. So in 2019, I also started my journey with therapy. He died in April. In July, I found an amazing therapist. Our anniversary is July 1st, 2019. And I've been with her for 4.5 years. I have learned so much about myself, about other individuals, about how the world works, so much through therapy. I am so grateful for therapy. I have been in therapy, like I said, for 4.5 years. I started when Alex died because I wanted to make sure I was good for these kids. I knew I was the only one left for them, and I wanted to make sure that I was not going to fuck this up too much. So that's what started me, and I haven't always felt like I needed therapy these last 4.5 years, but I say when you go to therapy when you're good, that is honestly where you get to learn even more about yourself. When you're not in crisis mode or survival mode, and you are in exploratory mode and rebuilding mode and loving mode, you get to show up in a way that is so different, and you get to learn about yourself in such a different way. I am a huge advocate for therapy. I hear so many times that I tried it, didn't work out. It's like dating. You got to keep going. You got to get out there, because when you find the one, it is life-changing. I love therapy so much. And yeah, I recommend it to anyone and everyone. Okay. So that was 2019. And then 2020, a year later, good old pandemic hit. And that was earth-shattering in its own way for everyone, obviously. It was so weird. It was something that none of us had been through before. I was running my own business, which felt almost impossible through a pandemic, let alone through the mental health crisis that I was going through, that the world was going through. And the support that I did have after Alex died was gone. They were very scared after COVID, and so I had no support. I was doing it alone. My mom was gone. My kids' grandparents were gone. Alex was gone. I was alone. I was alone through COVID. And that shit sucked, and it was hard. But the hardest part wasn't even fucking COVID. I worked from home, so we adapted. My kids were awesome. We handled it. Let me say, this is the part that made me cry last time. So I want to get through this. What was hard? What was hard was let's see, how do I even what was hard was grieving as a Black woman for the first time in my life ever. I don't know if I mentioned where I am located, but I grew up in Idaho. It is a very white fucking state. Very religious state, very red state, okay? It is everything you think Idaho is, honestly. And family has kept me here through my whole life, but it is less than 1% of Black people out here. There's nobody out here. I am one of the rare ones, and that's how I grew up. I never saw Black individuals around me. I don't have Black family. Of my family that I know, my brother, who is a couple years younger than me and a couple shades lighter than me, is the only Black family I had. And it was unique. It was a unique experience growing up in Idaho as a Black little girl. And that is a whole story in itself, I'm sure. So when 2020 hit and Breonna Taylor was murdered in her home, and then when George Floyd was murdered in front of everyone, and I saw how much I was in so much pain and hurt so bad, I feel like I'm reaching for something to hold. And the world just kept going. The world was not hurting like me. The people around me, the state I lived in, my family, my mother, they weren't hurting like me. I knew black people were murdered. I knew all this. I knew there was such, but like, it hit me in a different type of way in 2020, and maybe it was because I was isolated and I was paying attention, and that shit fucked me up. It fucked me up. It fucked me up. And I was so alone where I was in the world with it. My state could give two shits. We had everything else going on. Everything you could think of. I lost a lot of friends showing their true colors during this time. I lost family. I lost a lot. But I refused to let people make me feel crazy for hurting like I was. So I grieved like a black woman, a black individual, in a way that I had never grieved before, and still grieving. And I did it alone. Yeah, I had counseling. I had that. We mentioned let's breathe. We talked about joining support groups and whatnot, but like, I wanted to grieve with somebody I loved. I wanted someone that loved me to grieve with me and to feel the pain that I was in, so it just didn't hurt so bad. But I didn't get that, and I still haven't got that. And it put a wedge a lot between family and friends and all sorts of things. You know, it was a lot. When I cry, I probably won't be making eye contact with you guys. Just a warning. Yeah. I hurt. And I had to keep showing up for my kids because they had just lost their dad a year ago. And there was nobody else but me. And I had to keep my business alive because there was nobody else but me. I had to keep going because what other option did I have? I don't know what this is gonna sound like on a podcast, crying and blah blah blah, but I had to keep going. I had to keep my shit together. I had to keep doing it. I was alone, but that was okay. I really worked on my codependency shit during that time. I healed. I grew my spirituality. I found gratitude in a unique way. I think it was in 2022, maybe the end of 2021, where I started my gratitude journey. And yeah, I'm 2.5 years in deep now. Every day I wake up and I say at least 3 things written down what I am grateful for. And gratitude has truly changed so much of my reality for me. I can say I am so grateful for the children that Alex provided for me. I am so grateful for the good memories that my kids have from him. I am so grateful for the people who did show up for me when I was grieving. I am so grateful for the people that educated themselves and decided to hurt with me. I am so grateful for so much in this life. I'm so grateful for how my children of heal. I can go on and on and on and on and on. Gratitude has changed my life. It has changed my life, and I have been on a journey these last few years, getting to know myself and my soul and who I want to be as an individual, how I want to show up in this world. And I'm getting closer and closer every day. And this podcast is part of it. So that's a glimmer into who I am a bit. Let's see. Yeah. Like I said, I am a photographer. I love what I do. I love connecting to individuals on that level. When I get to sit and talk to my clients one-on-one is where I feel like I shine the most. And that's what I'm really hoping to bring to this podcast. I want to connect with you all. So if there are stories, questions, things that you want to talk about, like let's talk about it. Bring it up. Let's get there. Let's do it. So that was 2020 for me. It was COVID. It was the pandemic. It was the unknown, but it then was also the grieving and the loneliness and the fear as a Black woman. It was a lot, but I grew so much from that. Yeah, I learned boundaries. I learned so much. And you want to hear a plot twist? Said never have had Black family. My dad passed away when I was 7 years old, and have searched for his family throughout my whole life. That was like my biggest dream. I was gonna find them. I was gonna go to California. They were gonna love me, all the things. So I've written letters. I've searched, like I said, my whole life. Couple times I've thought I found them. Well, I found them. I found my I found my father's family, which is the only Black half of me that is out there left. I found them last year, a year ago. And it was so easy. It happened obviously right when it was supposed to, and that was a lot too. I don't know if we're going to get into that, but yeah, I found them and I asked for it. During that whole time, I was like, I don't want to be alone. I want. And guess what? The universe gave, and it kicked me on my ass. It's a lot. I found the only people I've made contact with, I guess, they knew nothing about me. I always knew about them. They knew nothing about me. I rocked this family's world. I found the grandmother. So my father's mom, I think she just turned 83 or 84 years old. I found her. And I also found my sister, my father's other daughter, who is 2 days younger than me. Is that not crazy? It is so crazy. I reached out. We did like a little DNA thing. Like I said, they knew nothing about me. I rocked the world. It was unique. It is still unique. It's triggering as fuck. Triggering as fuck. This is all about me. This is not always going to be about me, but yeah. So that happened a year ago. And then I feel like after that happened, I've been grieving that for this last year. And so, it's been a lot. It's been such a journey learning and rediscovering myself and learning how and who I want to be in this life. And that's without all of my love life stories, my stories as a mom, all of that. Like, that's just like the cliff notes of what it has been, the things I've been learning. It's been an amazing ride, but not one for the faint of heart. I'm grateful for it all. So that is who I am. And there's so much more to know about me and learn about me. I just wanted to introduce myself, kind of talk about where my 30s are, where they've been, what I learned through them. I'm not sure if this had an up and a down and a story, but I just wanted to kind of go over some things because these fucking couple years have been a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a lot. And I stopped my business, my everything. Like, I said I couldn't, but it had to. Everything went on hold for a good year. And I'm so grateful I was in a position to be able to do that because, again, we just came out of COVID. And it's been hard, but I needed to heal myself and get to a spot where I could show up for individuals in a way that I wanted to. My job takes a lot of energy back and forth. There's a lot of exchange. It is a photo shoot. I am a photographer, but it is also kind of a therapy session. It is a healing experience. It is a time where you get to show up so vulnerable and free. And I get to hold space for an individual where they can try and drop the resistance they have to their body or to how they show up in this world and just be seen full, raw, naked sometimes, and know that they are going to be safe. And not only that, walk out with some hot fucking photos, because I do guarantee that, okay? It's an experience, and I'm so grateful every time, and I'm so honored every time an individual chooses to step in front of my camera. But there's a lot coming between us. We truly are on a journey together. And I realized that I wasn't able to show up in that way these last year, honestly. I mean, last 6 months have been better, but the year before that, I wasn't showing up, not the way I wanted to, not the way I knew I could. So I had to, I didn't even have a choice. The universe chose rest, stop, rest. And I had to just give in. That was my journey. That is what I worked through in therapy, was the unknown and being okay with the unknown and resting and being with the shoulds and coulds in your head and just knowing that this is what I needed. It's hard because society tells you to go and grind and do harder and last quarter and whatever it is. And sometimes you just have to stop and breathe and give yourself grace that you so wish from the fucking universe. If you are not giving yourself that grace, that patience, that love, that kindness, why the fuck would the universe give it to you? How the fuck would the universe know how to give it to you if you don't even show it? If you don't choose to learn and to show yourself so that the universe can continue to provide that feeling for you? That's not fair. You have to stop. You have to choose you. You have to. And I'm using that word because you don't have a choice. Your other choice is to resist and to fight the rest of the way through. And I'm sorry, that's not what this shit is supposed to be about. Despite what sometimes this fucking society tells us, it's not what it's about. So I'm so grateful I learned how to give myself grace. And now I am showing up for my clients and for my loved ones in a way that is so healed and whole. I had to take a year, maybe even a little longer. But now I feel like the vessel for the healing experience I want to provide. I feel so worthy and so ready to be seen that I can fully feel and know that I was not ready and that I would have done myself and my clients a huge disservice if I made myself. So I'm grateful for where I am now. I'm grateful for what's coming. The podcast, like I said, is part of it. I'm showing up. I'm sharing myself, and I hope you all can find something to resonate with in this conversation. Take what resonates, hold it tight. Let me know, please, in the comments, DMs. However, let me know if anything resonates with you. And if anything doesn't, just leave it. It wasn't for you. Okay, maybe it was for somebody else. Maybe, just leave it. But whatever resonates, please take it with you. Hold whatever you resonated with so deep in your heart. Thank you so much for showing up for me, showing up for you in this conversation. I hope it went okay. Please leave any pointers, thoughts, concerns in the comments box below. Sorry, but okay. As we end this chat, as we end this chat, I want to thank you all so much for showing up and giving me some of your time and energy today. I acknowledge it is an exchange happening here, and I couldn't do this without you listening on the other end. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate it, and I cannot wait for our next conversation and to continue connecting with you all and getting to know you each on a deeper level and getting to know myself. I'm truly excited for this ride. You matter more than you even know. Stay open, stay grateful, and share some love wherever you can. Thank you so much for being here today. I love you all so much, and I appreciate you even more. Until next time.